Hello and welcome to your weekly horoscope for week commencing the 11th of October. This is for the Sun or the Ascendant. Now I'm going to give you the major strands of this week as an overview and then dive deep for each individual zodiac sign. So please stay with me. Now the major news story this week is that Saturn, the ruler of time, Saturn is the Latin version of Kronos, the Greek god. Kronos, old, father, time. So Saturn governs the mechanics of things. It's very much to do with where we're applied, where we're disciplined, but it can also be about limitation and obstacles and contraction. And since the 23rd of May, Saturn has been retracing its steps in the sign of Aquarius, which of course it co-rules. But for vast amounts of that time, it has been pretty much in a square with Uranus, the other ruler of Aquarius, which is very progressive and freedom-loving, very much about trying new things, where Saturn's very much about traditionality. So if you have experienced a period of great frustration in your situation and it feels that things just haven't been moving forwards, it's really positive that Saturn starts to station direct. But this week also sees the Sun and Mars in the sign of Libra in a combination which is pushing us to assert our rights around relationships in a tense right angle with Pluto, the planet of transformation. And this can lead to some quite forceful or heated standoffs. But those relationships that are much more constructive are given an opportunity to become even more stable and progressive, because Venus, the planet of relating in the sign of philosophy, Sagittarius, is linking brilliantly to Saturn. So that's a real upside to this week. But there is a quarter moon which occurs on Wednesday, and this one is pretty close to Pluto, and it's the moon in Capricorn, and that's squaring to the Sun in the 7th house. Do you know, there may be a situation where we do actually try very much to fit in with what's expected of us, but somehow or another, whoever we're trying to relate to will still find that our efforts just are not good enough. So expect to encounter someone who really is quite hard to please, and that could in itself be quite frustrating if we're really trying our best to be quite constructive. Now the other thing to tell you is that by the end of this week, both Mercury and Jupiter on Sunday are ending their retrogrades, both in air signs, the Mercury retrograde in Libra and Jupiter in Aquarius. But I will tell you more about that next time. But the big news story this week is definitely that Sun-Mars square with Pluto and Saturn going forwards. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. Please click or tap on the bell notification symbol. And if you want your free daily written horoscope fired to your device each morning, please click on the subscription link beneath this video. I write for some of the world's bigger platforms, and also for the British Press Association. I've been their lead astrologer for many years, and also Britain's most read daily newspaper, the Metro, so why not grab yours too? And with year 2022 fast racing up, if you want to understand what the year holds for you personally, based on your time, date and place of birth, you can order your forecast now and get the rest of this year free, plus a character analysis, plus 30% off. So gain searing insights for what lies ahead for you. Hello Pisces, and welcome to your in-depth forecast for week commencing the 11th of October. Now Saturn has been turning backwards in your sector of psychology, of reclusiveness, of meditation, of reflection, of the more spiritual dimension, and of course Saturn can be very limiting. Saturn is not a walk in the park. So if your energy has been lower, your emotional energy since around about the 23rd of May, and you have squirreled yourself away a little bit, maybe it's even felt a bit like a hermit period of your life, it wouldn't be an entirely surprising thing to learn. But of course, every single person has a very complex inner natal chart. So what works or might fit for some Pisces people might not fit for all. But as a general theme, I think there's been times when you may have felt lower in vitality or even cut off a little bit emotionally from yourself or others. But Saturn going forwards as this week begins is a good news story. And also the hard work you've been doing behind the scenes could see a relationship improve, a professional relationship, and someone may have the utmost respect for the way you do work so hard and don't necessarily always seek approval in a kind of needy, grabbing way. Also this week, the Sun and Mars do continue in your 8th house, and the 8th house in a more prosaic way is very much about long-term finances. It can be to do with insurances, probates, legacies, it can be to do with pension funds and stuff like that. But when we get the Sun alongside Mars, it can make us really quite desirous of something. So whether your desire is to improve your lot in a financial way or to get closer to someone more intimately really depends on your unique situation. The problem is that Pluto and the quarter moon are occupying your 11th house of higher values, of friendship. If there is any politics or backbiting or jealousy, someone shows the green-eyed monster, it could be revealed this week, and it could actually impact on your state of well-being to some degree. But just be aware that your ruler Jupiter, also in your 12th house along with Saturn, does end its retrograde as this week draws to a close, and Mercury, the planet of communication, which is also in the 8th house, is also ending its retrograde too. So there can be a sense that what's been blocked or limited or frustrating can start to ease away. And a big part of that is definitely Saturn going forwards from the start of this week. But if there is something where you feel very passionate about it, you can't be too idealistic, but equally this could be a week when neither can you take shortcuts in order to meet your needs. So if you have a real need to get close to someone, maybe there's a friend in your circle, your group that you're really drawn towards, don't try too hard to cultivate that alliance. Just let things develop naturally and understand that Saturn and Jupiter, but particularly Saturn in the 12th solar house, can be quite a challenging transit, but it's one that's teaching you a great deal about your strength of character, your ability to operate on your own, or perhaps teaching you, because Saturn can be the strict taskmaster, remember, teaching you more about what really makes you tick at the deeper level. And that actually can be, hard, but also very much defining of your growth as a human being.